What is going on, guys? Today I'll be doing my Week 14 predictions. If you have not checked out my last video, link will be down in the description below, and let's get right into it. For the Thursday night game, the Cowboys will be taking on the Bears. Both teams haven't looked good. I just picked the team that's been looking a little bit better this season, and that is the Cowboys. Mitchell Trubisky is one of the worst starting quarterbacks in the NFL, if not the worst, and I don't think he's going to be able to beat this Cowboys defense. Next up, we have two terrible teams again, the Panthers against the Falcons. Now, the Panthers are coming off of a new coach, but I do think they'll be able to pull through and beat this terrible defense in the Falcons. I'm going with the Panthers winning away. Next up, I have the Colts going to the Buccaneers and taking the dub. Now, Jacoby Brissett and the Colts have been looking pretty good, and the Buccaneers defense has just not been cutting it, letting up tons and tons of points game in and game out, so I went with the Colts. Next up, we have the Dolphins at the Jets, and I'm going with the Dolphins on this one, the fourth away team in a row. I think the Dolphins are going to be able to sweep the series against the Jets and get their second win against them this season. Next up, the 49ers against the Saints. Here's my first home win. I'm going with the Saints. Now, this may be a shocker to some of you since the 49ers defense has been looking good. But again, the Saints have Drew Brees as their quarterback. I think Drew Brees could pick apart most, if not all, defenses in the NFL right now. I think he's going to find a way to beat this 49ers defense. Next up, we have the Vikings and the Lions, and a pretty easy pick here in the Vikings. The Lions defense is just one of the worst defenses in the NFL, and they're not going to be able to stop Kirk Cousins and the Vikings offense. Next up, we have the Broncos and the Texans. I picked the Texans in this one. Pretty easy pick again. The Broncos are with a new QB in Drew Lock, the rookie. They did take the dub last week off of a lucky call, I guess you could say. Texans offense is just too good. They're going to be able to break down this pretty good defense in the Denver Broncos. A pretty easy choice there again. Next up, the Ravens and the Bills, and I'm going with the Ravens coming to Buffalo and winning. Lamar Jackson and the Ravens are just unstoppable right now. Pretty easy. The Bills defense is solid, but I think Lamar Jackson can break down any defense as shown against the 49ers and against the Patriots. Next up, we have the Bengals against the Browns. Bengals are coming off of their first win last week with Andy Dalton at quarterback, but I don't think they're going to win against the Browns this week, going to Cleveland. Next up, we have the Redskins and the Packers. I'm going with the Packers here. The Redskins did come off of a win last week, but the Packers are pretty dominant right now. Aaron Rodgers is on his game, and yeah, pretty easy pick again there since the Redskins aren't that good. Next up, we have the Chargers and the Jaguars. I have the Chargers going to Jacksonville and beating the Jaguars. They came off of an unlucky penalty at the end of the game, which costed them a field goal losing kick. Pretty unlucky, and I think that they're going to be able to beat the Jaguars this week. Next up, we have the Steelers against the Cardinals. I'm going with the Steelers going to the Cardinals and winning. Now, is James Conner going to play right now? It's questionable. We're going to see. I don't know if it'll make a huge difference. James Conner hasn't been the best this season, but against this weak Cardinals defense, he will make an impact. And I do think the Steelers are going to take this dub, especially with how their defense is looking right now. Next up, we have the Titans and the Raiders, and I have the Titans beating the Raiders. The Raiders and the Titans are both having really good seasons, but I think the Titans are a really underrated team. With Ryan Tannehill at QB, he's been having a great season when he came in, and I think they're going to do just enough to beat this Raiders defense. Next up, probably the best game of the week. Well, definitely the best game of the week. We have the Chiefs going up against the Patriots, and I have the Patriots winning. Now, this is at Foxborough, and I don't see many QBs, let alone Patrick Mahomes, coming to Foxborough and beating Tom Brady. Patrick Mahomes is Patrick Mahomes, but again, it's in Foxborough. It's going to be cold. I don't know if Patrick Mahomes is going to be able to pull through. Next up, we have the Seahawks against the Rams, and I picked the Seahawks going to the Rams and taking the dub. Russell Wilson is doing awesome right now. Tyler Lockett was held to 0 catches last week. If that happens again, I don't I don't know if it's going to be as bright of a game, but the Seahawks are going to go to the Rams and take the dub, break down that defense. And yeah, next up we have our Monday night game, the Giants going up against the Eagles. I have the Eagles winning that game. Daniel Jones is out for the game with a high ankle sprain, so Eli Manning will be taking a start this week. It's good. It's gonna be good to see Eli Manning take probably his last couple starts as a New York Giant. But I don't think he's going to be able to beat the Eagles, who are coming off of a loss to the Dolphins. But you never know. But yeah, that is my picks for this week. If you liked what you watched, please subscribe, like the video, and yeah, peace.